welcome to the square room. What?
Excuse me, ma'am. I was supposed to do this, but okay.
I mean, go ahead.
It's too late. We started it.
You know, this week...
It's been pretty good. For me, it's been pretty good. I've had a dandy week.
I mean, that's great. What made you this week so good for you?
I don't know, man. I've been cycling a lot. You know what I mean? Just putting work on my legs and my butt, you know? But, what?
Nothing. I'm listening to you.
But, you know, other than that, I don't know. I don't know. For me, I've had a tame week, you know?
I mean, that's good. I mean, I guess it's been relatively tame, but I mean, like, this week has been weird for me because, well, actually the last, 2 weeks or so, but, you know, everything going on with the fallout from the tragic death of George Floyd. It's, weird, my feelings and, the emotions that it is bringing up. This episode, Hugh-Gene and I decided to talk about it as our experiences and our thoughts about everything. For those of you who may not know,
we're black.
We are both black Canadians.
We're African Canadians. I'm just a black guy.
It's not African Canadian.
We are Africans Canadians, man.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a unique perspective on this and we're gonna talk about it. But I definitely want to preface by saying that this may not be our usual lighthearted, stupid.
I'll throw some laughs in there. I'll try.
Stupid episode. This is something that is serious, and I mean, I speak for myself when I say, sorry, my stomach is rumbling. Yeah, I speak for myself when I say that this is something that I find to be very important and very tragic, honestly. And I don't know, I just wanted to let you guys know what this episode is if you are easily triggered. And I know Hugh-Gene's
too late, you fucks.
He's gonna roll his eyes because he
too late.
Thinks trigger warnings are stupid, but
they are. But it's too late for trigger warnings for this podcast.
Well, that's true, but I know that a lot of people have been kind of at their wits' end with this. So if you don't want to hear another Black Lives Matter podcast, then tune in next week or listen to one of our other 60 episodes. But this week we're gonna tackle some deep stuff.
I like it deep.
All right, Hugh, let me hear what you said. You got something to say. Go ahead.
I do.
I don't know, that's what you said.
Oh man. Yeah, man, shit's been cray. I don't know, seeing it, it's nothing new. Yeah.
Which is horrible, just even that it is nothing new.
No, it's nothing new. I think what made this different than the other ones is the fact that it went on for so long. Normally it's just a pow, done. But then this time it's been
well, for those who may not know, which I think almost
if you don't
everybody
know, you're
knows,
stupid.
But George Floyd was killed. He was murdered by Minneapolis police. He was detained because
it was a fake. The cops were calling him because he had a fake $20 bill.
Well, they thought it was counterfeit, but it turned out to not be, allegedly. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
But he tried to spend a $20 bill. The cashier thought it was a fake. Police were called, and that is what caused this. He was, handcuffed and thrown on the ground, and the cop, I'm not even going to say his name, but he put his knee on George Floyd's neck. So this man is laying on the pavement face down, and he has a grown man with his knee on his neck and the weight of his body on his back and chest area, and he held his knee there for what was it, 8 minutes and 26 seconds, almost 9 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's what made it worse, because it was just for a long time. So I think that's what made it the difference between this and other things, is the fact that you kind of just sat.
Because it's definitely not the first time a cop has done that. which they should not. It's not acceptable. But it's not the first time. But 9 minutes. This man called out for help, said he couldn't breathe, said, "You are killing me." He begged. And I think it wasn't, don't quote me, like another like 2 or 3 minutes after he lost consciousness that he remained with his knee on this man's neck.
Yeah, after like a certain amount of time, you're dead.
He has been charged with 2nd-degree murder. It was originally 3rd, but they bumped it up to 2nd.
He's gonna be a patsy.
But and the other officers, there were 3 other officers on duty with him. Yeah, they were charged.
I think
with,
they're gonna get let go. I think they're gonna get let go. The 3 other ones, I think they're gonna make him into
two of them were new. One, it was I think his 4th day. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they get let go. Yeah, if it's your 4th day, that guy I can understand why.
But here's the thing, I don't understand it.
I don't do.
People say that, like, it's weird because we think about television and everyone knows there's like, it's like a running theme in like action movies and stuff that there's always dirty cops. You know what I mean? And like it makes shows more exciting and gives things a storyline. But like, why is it so socially acceptable and socially known and like we don't do anything about the fact that there are dirty cops? Policing should not be a job where there are dirty ones. Like, it's like when
every
people
job
say,
has a dirty thing. Every job has something dirty.
When someone is,
especially when it's like a position of power type of job.
When someone is a doctor, you can't, with police, and one does something bad or they're dirty, they're like, oh well, it's one bad apple. One bad apple doesn't spoil the bunch. Like, it's just one.
Does spoil the bunch.
Is the saying that it does?
Saying.
Oh,
yes.
Whatever.
That's the saying.
But the point is that they're saying it's one bad apple. And like you said, it does spoil a bunch, in my opinion. It does. If you had one doctor that was just completely negligent and killing people and didn't give a shit about his job, you couldn't just be like, oh, well, it's just one bad doctor. You can't, in certain professions, you cannot afford to have one bad apple.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's like the fact that it's so... I don't want to say socially acceptable, but it's like everyone knows that there's dirty cops and very little is done about it. That's what I mean when I say it's socially acceptable.
It's not just... It's pretty much society's fault that this happened. Because, like, people know that there's been problems with police brutality and whatnot. No one's done anything. Police stations, well, they're all work with each other, so they know there's some stations that are more corrupt than others, so, they all know that. The governments, they know that. The governors, they know that. The mayors, they know that. So it's not just a problem with just this one department. It's a problem with just the government running body in general. The mayor and all these guys, everyone that knows about... Because the thing about this officer, too, he's been having complaints against him since, like, 2006.
Yeah.
So, like...
They're all like racially targeted complaints and things. Apparently,
I don't know about that.
He's killed before. He's killed unarmed black men before. I think there was one in 2011.
Why?
I can't remember the circumstances off the top of my head. But the point is, I do believe you do need context. Yeah. But the point is, forget any other thing that he's done in the past.
The fact that he has complaints from like consistently from like 2006, that's kind of like, well, what the hell, guys. But like, a lot of time what will happen is that a cop will get fired. Because cops get fired all the time. But then they'll just go over to a different department. Or they'll go somewhere else. And it's going to be like, well, whatever.
That is true. They'll leave one department and go to the next.
Yeah, cops get fired all the time. But...
Well, it's not fired. It's transferred.
Yeah.
You still have a job.
Well, both.
You still have your pension. You still have your benefits. Yeah, you're just in a different department.
Well, yeah, no, both things happen. A lot of them, they do get fired and they do get transferred. Because the thing is with me, I try to pay attention. Like, not pay attention. When it comes to these things, I always make sure to look into it. And I purposely, I remember, like, I follow a YouTuber named Donut Operator, and he's an ex-cop, and he'll, like, break down shit that happens. And he'll break down why they may do things that they may do. Like, the whole... Even him. Like, everyone... This is the one thing that's kind of nice. The positive thing about this thing is that everyone's kind of unified in how they feel. I haven't really heard anyone say on both... More on the conservative side that have said that this is... No one's really tried to justify it. Because the whole knee thing... You're supposed to do... Not the knee technique thing. It's not supposed to be on the neck. It's supposed to be, like, on the body. Like, around the back area. It is a thing they do, but it's not supposed to be on the neck.
Recently, a lot of videos and photos have been surfacing of over the last couple years, and some as recent as a few days after George Floyd, around the United States and Europe. I know one in particular was in France, where white police officers are putting their knees on unarmed black men's necks. So it's like they are already in handcuffs, they're already on the ground, and they are still using excessive and unnecessary force. And it's just like,
it's the French, man. You can't blame.
Well, no, it's not just there.
I know. I just want to show them the French. It's fun.
Like, there is a You can hear my stomach growling. I'm hungry.
Hungry for justice.
Honestly, I know you're joking, but like, I am.
No, I think what's gonna happen, I think he's gonna be a patsy. I think they're gonna make this guy a patsy. I think because I didn't even know there was a guy that was 4 days on. Because I could just, I'm gonna take the bad side here. I can't imagine because I imagine if it's a rookie, 4 days on. Because when
there was another one, and it wasn't as short, but it was probably a couple weeks, couple months.
Rookie, yeah, 2 rooks.
Yeah, fuck. 2 rookies.
Because like when you're a rookie. Because being in the department, when you're a rookie, you pretty much just shut the fuck up and you just do whatever they say. So I imagine what they're... Because when you can see the video of them picking up and putting him in the car, I imagine the 2 rooks are probably like, what the fuck? They're probably like, don't know what the hell's going on. They probably knew they're fucked. So I imagine they will probably get let go.
Listen.
I imagine they'll be made as... I imagine the guy...
Silence is compliance. I think at the end of the day, I totally understand like rankings and the fact that... these guys were rookies, but at some point, wrong is wrong and right is right.
Yeah, no,
the man lost consciousness, and for several minutes afterwards, this cop kept his knee on his neck. Yeah. He said he couldn't breathe. He said he was dying.
And at the point, and people are probably wondering why didn't they try like resuscitating when you lose consciousness, there's a certain... I can't remember what time, but there's certain time limits where it's just like, there's no point. Like, I think it's if you hit like... I think if you're out for like 10... I can't remember how long. No, I can't remember. It's not long, but there's a certain amount of time where you're pretty much brain dead. Like, even if I was to resuscitate you, no point.
Did you hear that George Floyd, he was also, along with, saying that he couldn't breathe and he was dying and whatever.
Yeah, going for like his mom and whatnot.
He was calling out mama, and
his mom like died.
His mom died 2 years prior, and like, oh god, like that just breaks my heart because it's like, I don't know, to like put myself, I don't want to cry, to put myself in like his shoes and like what he must have been feeling. I can't imagine. I don't even know. Like, maybe he saw his mom. Maybe he just... I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It sucks. Yeah, it's nothing, like, new. Which is, like, the bad part. That's nothing new. Like I said, I think what was the catalyst is like, one, you had prior things, like you had the one in Georgia with the dad and the son killing the dude, and then you had another one with that, I can't remember,
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, what was the girl's name that died?
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, with her, where hers was just a big old fuck up because the undercover cops went to the wrong place.
Well, Breonna Taylor, she was killed by police.
Yeah, those
March
undercover
13th.
Cops, yeah, and they fucked up.
She was a 26-year-old ER tech in Louisville, Kentucky, and the police broke through her door with a battering ram.
Yeah, they went to the wrong house.
It was a mistaken thing. They went to the wrong place, but they just sprayed gunfire into her home, and they shot her 8 times, and she died in her hallway, and nobody has been arrested.
Yeah, that's a big... They're not even supposed to do that. You're supposed to inform who you are.
Like,
when you do that.
They must have thought this was an action movie or something. Like, who does that?
Well, that's just whether they...
But no one has been arrested. Like, there's no justice.
Yeah, it just gets swept under the table. So it makes you wonder, like, from a statistic point of view, this stuff has gone down from a statistic point of view, but it makes me think of like the past of how many times this stuff has happened.
It has happened way too many times, and it's always a person of color. And like right now,
not all the time though. But
the numbers show that in comparison, I'm not saying that white people aren't ever...
This police brutality in general is bad. It happens a lot.
Agreed.
But just in general, it's bad. I don't want to say that it just only happens to one set. It happens to all.
Right.
It's just that it happens too much. And
but black people get it way worse and way more.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot more. It seems like it's more of like
it's systematic racism. Even if people don't, like, hate black people or don't, like, whatever, it's like, it's those, like, tiny microaggressions, right? Like, when you see, I showed you the video earlier of a white man literally swinging an axe at a cop, right? And the cop's like, you gotta stop it, stop. And, like, if it was a black man doing that, they would have shot, tased, done something to escalate the situation, which I think if someone is swinging an axe at you, you need to take action. But it's just the fact that, like, the white man got so many additional chances because black people are seen as threats right off the bat. When a white person raises their voice in a store, maybe like, oh, I want to speak to the manager, they're called a Karen. They're seen as, you know, just like annoying and entitled and whatever. But if a black woman or man raises their voice and gets upset, they're seen as aggressive. They're seen as a threat. They're seen as a problem that needs to be taken care of. Not like, okay, like, we'll give you a coupon. It's like, you need to get out of the store, ma'am, or you need to get out, sir. You're scaring people.
They do it for both. Okay. I don't know.
I've never seen a situation, either in person or on video, where
someone's screaming
and they've seen them as a threat when they're white.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They see them as a threat?
Yeah, and I know guys who do loss prevention who do that shit all the time, yeah. By black or white, if you're in a store and you're screaming, you're going to get kicked out of the store. That's gonna get.
But are they seen as a threat?
Yeah, anyone that's screaming and causing a commotion in the store is seen as a threat. I've done security too.
I don't doubt it, and I'm not someone who is against. I'm not against police, and I'm not against white people. I'm not against anyone who's not black, but I think it's quite ridiculous when people are saying, you know, Black Lives Matter, and people get upset that they say that, and they say all lives matter.
Yeah. Imagine you go back in the 90s and I don't know.
That's literally what you're kind of doing right now, though. What? Like, I'm trying to prove a point, and you're saying, well, you know, it happens to white people too. It does, but the numbers don't lie. It happens to black people in crazy amounts.
I'm not saying all lives matter. How am I saying all lives matter?
I'm saying when we're talking about the...
Yeah, but I'm just talking about, like, when it comes to, like, a store, anyone... I've done security. I know tons of people have done security.
I've literally worked retail.
Yeah,
I've been on the other end of that.
Same.
Where'd you work?
I worked at Mark's Warehouse, and I worked at the gym. You know how many people I've had...
Is a gym retail?
Yeah, technically.
Well, I guess, yeah.
I've had tons of people in my face yell at me. Everyone, if you yell, you're a threat, automatically. Whether you're black or white.
You know the type of threat I'm talking about.
What type of threat?
A group of black young men versus a group of white young men. Which group is going to be seen as more threatening?
Both are threatening as fuck to me. A group of teenagers is terrifying, man. That's the worst. Black ones, obviously. Yeah, no shit. No shit. But, like, in a store situation, both are looked at as bad.
Which ones are followed around to make sure they're not stealing?
Yeah, black kid, yeah.
How many black people are turned away from stores because the store just thinks that they can't afford it? A store turned Oprah down because the people didn't know who she was, and they didn't.
Yeah, I think that happened like in France.
They didn't think she could afford it because she was black.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's no racism, dude.
I'm not saying you're not saying that.
Okay. Yeah, shit's fucked up, but I don't know, man. Hopefully, with all this, I think it's a necessary chaos. Like, I think all the shit's been happening in the past couple of years is a necessary chaos. It sucks that this shit has to happen, but I think it's necessary to wake people up.
I mean, I really do hope that change comes from this. I hope that, you know, all of these people, their lives are not in vain. Like, even Ahmaud Arbery, I think it was like some footage. I don't remember exactly what. I don't know if it was the pedestrian footage or what, but it was found that, like, right after he was killed in cold blood while he was jogging, minding his own business by two white men, that they, you know, were calling him the N-word.
Yeah.
It's like, it was clearly fueled by hate and racism and stereotypes, and it's like, why?
Yeah,
I think that's what got me last week. I was just, listening to the news and reading articles and thinking about everything, and like I broke down because I'm just like, why is it that like my people, that people who look like me are seen as a threat? I look at myself and I'm like, I'm like one of the least threatening people that I know. And I look at like my friends and I'm like, these are such good people. And it's like, why are we seen as less than by society? And it's not just white people. A lot of Asian cultures, they see that, white is right.
Well, in every culture, if you're darker, then you're kind of less. That's every culture.
Right. But I'm saying like, not just like the colorism within the...
Oh, yeah. The way Asian... Yeah.
But I'm saying like literally, like Asian people, and I'm talking like all different countries in Asia, like they will... The same stereotype, like when it's around black people, oh, like don't do that, like don't be friends with this black person, they're not good, they're not this, they're not that, like literally white is right. Like aside from the colorism, like lighter skin is better, yes, but between black and white people, other races tend to side with white people because that's like, even though they're a minority as well.
Yeah,
and like
but it's also just how we're perceived in the media too. So
for sure.
So when your only exposure is whatever you see on TV, then...
Oh, no. Well, that's true. But I'm also talking about, like, we grew up in Canada. I grew up around many different cultures. We live in Toronto. It's a very multicultural place. And I know a lot of people that were raised with, like, racist stereotypes in their household.
I lucked out. All my friends are great. I never had that problem when I was a kid. Or, like, when it came to, like, parents being racist, all the mom life friends' parents were all like, get in here, you little black bastard. Like, they're all cool.
Yeah, no, all of my friends, parents and everything were good, but that's not to say that I don't know people who... Like, I mean, you have classmates. That doesn't mean that they're your friend, or you do projects with people. Like, I remember, I want to say I was in, like, 11th grade, and, I was in, like, drama club, and this guy, like, we were friends. We weren't super close, but we were cool.
Wink.
We had more... Not wink, wink.
I don't know.
No, but, we had a showcase, and like our characters were supposed to kiss.
Gross.
And before the show, he told me that he wanted to... I don't remember what we did instead. Oh God, I don't remember if it was like a hug or what, or like I don't remember what it was. But he was like, honestly, like, my dad is gonna be here tonight, and he would be really upset if I kiss a black person.
Oh wow.
Do you know how it feels to be like a teenager and hear someone say that to you?
It's fucking great. Not really, man. I've had tons of shit like that when I was younger. But the thing is, for me, I've had shit both ways. That's the thing. I've had shit from white people, but I've also had shit from black people.
Because you're light skinned?
Not because I'm light skinned, just because I didn't act black enough. So for me, I was always in that weird, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to act like. Because, like, for me, I didn't get a lot from white people. I got some from white people. I have, like, white people be like, I'm happy you don't act... I remember I had one chick say, happy you don't act black. And I was like, what the... Huh? And she's like, wait, no! And, like, I didn't get... Like, obviously, I got annoyed because I know what she's trying to say, but then she's just stupid. So I didn't... I was like, that's wrong. And she's like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And then I had that. And then with black people, they would always say, like, you're whitewashing shit. Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, a long time, it wasn't probably until, like, high school, I would always be like, what the fuck? I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what things I was supposed to be into. I didn't know I was supposed to dress properly. I'd be like, do I dress this way? Because a lot of time I wore baggy clothes because I thought I was supposed to, because I wanted to prove my blackness to other black people.
You know what's so funny? I relate to everything you said. Growing up, I was told
That's my experience in Canada.
That I spoke white
Yeah, I got that.
I was whitewashed, like you said.
But I got it from black people.
They use the term Oreo. Yeah. Oh no, I got it from white people and black people.
I got it from
black
both.
people felt like it was a little more okay and more open to say. I think like white people say it, but like, you know, they say it in like little slick ways, whereas black people will just straight up be like, oh, you're whitewashed. Oh, you're an Oreo. Oh, you're this, you're that, and like.
But for me, like when I had white people, I can't remember how they would say it. Like sometimes they wouldn't. I forgot how they would say it. I can't remember how to say it. Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, no, what I was saying was that, you know, for the longest time, like, I would be told these things, but I would be praised for it. Like, oh, the way you talk is a good thing. Like, I've been told that on the phone, like, people can't tell my ethnicity all of the time. Because, you know, sometimes I can get ratchet and I can talk whatever, but naturally I have a bit of a vocal fry, and, like, I may talk a certain way, and people are like, oh, like, that makes you be perceived as white, which is a good thing. I was straight up told by a white woman that over the phone in particular, that is an asset for me, and I should really lean into that. You know, and being told that I'm whitewashed by black people, and like being told that that's a good thing, it confuses you as a kid, because you're just like, I'm just being myself. I'm not trying to be white. I'm not trying to be stereotypically black. I'm not trying to be stereotypically white.
Because my friend, I don't want to say his name, but he might have posed that he like, where like I related, because he was like, my friend Nolan, he was the exact same as us. He was the whitewashed black kid. So like when he made a post about that, and I was like, I totally relate to what you're saying there, sir.
Yes, I saw his post on Instagram. Yeah. It was really nice and moving.
I was like me. The only things that differed was that I think the same thing you said. Did you, when you got told that you were whitewashed, did you see it as a good thing? Because that was the only thing I differed from, like, when, because I think what he said in his post, that he saw it as a positive thing.
I did.
For me, I hated it.
I was praised for it, so you assume that you're not praised for negative things. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is a good thing about me. Like, I'm black, but I'm not too black, so that's good. Or I don't act too black, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, for me it was different, because I didn't, when I got called whitewash from white people, and they would say that's a good thing, I had that. I didn't like that, because I was like, well, I'm not white. What the fuck? Don't call me white. I'm not white. Because, like, you know, because like, also being white is always looked at as, like, when you're like, you're white, it's like you're lame, you know? Sorry, white people, you're not looked at as cool all the time, even, you know, but like,
they're looked at as desirable. They're looked at as just better overall. They're not looked at as criminals. They're not looked at as ghetto or ratchet.
They're looked at as trailer trash.
You mentioned
that's their ghetto.
You mentioned like wanting to wear baggy clothes to fit in, to prove your blackness, and for me it was the opposite. I remember like looking at girls who would wear like the like bright colored skinny jeans, and like I saw that as something.
Skinny jeans?
Yeah.
When? What year was this?
I don't know. Maybe like
2010?
07?
07.
I don't know.
That was a thing?
Yeah. Anyways, Hugh-Gene, it's not about figuring out fashion trends. It was a trend, and it looked good. It really did.
That was a white thing?
No, a black thing.
Oh.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. It wasn't, but I saw it as a black thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like
baby fat.
I would go to Scarborough. And
I would go to Scarborough.
What?
I don't know.
No, but like going to Scarborough, because I mean I didn't live in Scarborough at this time that I'm like referring to.
the journey to Scarborough.
No, but seeing, you know, schools that were perceived as a little more
West Hill,
ghetto,
Waste Hill.
No, that's not even the one I'm thinking about. I'm not even thinking about
Pope.
one particular school. No,
St. John Paul, Mother Teresa.
I don't even know what that is. Can you please, Hugh? Like, let me get my point across, please. Seeing girls who acted typically black, stereotypically black, I should say. Well, I was doing little air quotes, but I realized that people can't see me.
Can't see my fingers.
That acted stereotypically black and dressed a certain way. I was like, I don't want to be associated with that. I remember my mom got me a couple pairs of pants, and like one was like a really nice green and one was like red, like a nice true bright red.
What's that?
Pants.
What's true?
I don't know. Think like a fucking stop sign red, like just like a true red.
That's a true red?
That's the color I think of when I think
real red.
When I think of red, like just a basic red, that's what I think of. Anyways, that's not Hugh. It's not the point, please, because my point is important. I was like, I loved the idea of it, and like those pants, you know, I'm the queen of like keeping tags on stuff, But like those had the tags on it until I couldn't even fit them anymore.
Why?
And then I threw them out because I was so afraid to wear them to be perceived. I didn't want to be seen as ghetto. And I thought if I wore that, I would be looked at as ghetto. And I wanted to. They were nice pants and like I liked the style, but like I didn't want to do that. Even like wearing like wigs and weaves and like doing different colors with my hair, I was super scared to do that, and I actually still am. The only time I ever changed my hair color was once, and that was for a Pride festival, because like Pride,
cool,
anything goes. And that's the thing, I liked the way I looked.
Yeah, cool.
But like on a regular day, I would be afraid to walk down my street wearing purple hair because I don't want to get looks like, oh, there goes another one, another ratchet black girl.
For me, what my kind of like revelation was that like, because for me the difference was that like I would wear the baggy clothes because I wanted to perceive what the fuck, you know what I'm trying to say,
Perceived.
There you go. I wanted to be perceived as black, so I'd wear the baggy clothes, and I liked them. I did like them. I thought they were cool and shit. But like I always think to myself, if I followed what I wanted to do, the shit that I want to do, I'd be a skater kid much earlier. I would have been doing that shit a lot earlier. But like for me, my revelation was because as I got older, I didn't really hear the whole "you're whitewashed" from white people. I would mostly hear it from black people as I got older. And then because that shit was more like middle school, where I would get that a lot from, I guess, the white side. But then high school, I would get more from the black people. And I remember this one day, and I think I've said it on here, I remember this one guy, he would always say I'm white washed and all that shit, you're not black. And I would be like, all right, since you're the black master, teach me your ways. Like, tell me how to be black. And he knew what I meant, because he was a fucking ghetto-ass kid, right? So he knew what I meant when I said that. How do I be black? Show me the ways of being black. I want to act like you. See, and he knew what I was doing. And after that day, I was like, being black is being you. There's no way to act black. Just be yourself. Like, that's why Childish Gambino was my favorite rapper for the longest time, because that was the one rapper I felt like I could relate most to, because he was the whitewashed black kid. He was into the typical nerdy shit, white shit. So, like, I don't know, like, if you're one of those kids, probably no kids listening to this, but if you're just one of these people, you don't know what the fuck to do, just be yourself. You know, just don't worry. Like,
you know what? That's easier said than done, though, because growing up, like,
it's easier
as
said
much
than
as
done.
you want to be yourself, it's like the people around you and how you're perceived is a huge influence in your decisions.
What I would say is just worry about what you can control. You can't control what people think. People are gonna think about you no matter, even if you like fucking wash their feet every day, they can still think you're a cunt, and you will never know.
Well, that's the thing. So like, no matter how I tried to like, you know, I don't want to say control my image, but you know, like I said about like not dressing too black or whatever. There was one time when a couple friends of mine and I were in the mall like in our like town, and
I was gonna be like, were you guys at STC? Because that doesn't sound great.
No, we weren't. We were at the mall.
Movie either.
We were at the mall in our town, and we were in the food court. We were hanging out, laughing, talking, whatever. Beside us, there was a table with two other teenagers, a boy and a girl, white. And then behind us was a table with a man and a woman, I would say maybe like at least 40s, and they were Ethiopian. So the two white teenagers start throwing fries at the Ethiopian people. They'll like throw a couple fries and then laugh and then like stop and kind of, you know, as they're looking around trying to figure out where it comes from. They do this a couple times, and then the Ethiopian lady turns around and starts cussing at me and my friends. You're throwing fries at me and blah blah blah. And like, keep in mind, these white kids are right beside us and they're clearly visibly like laughing and snickering, but like she turned to us and like,
yeah, but but then she doesn't, but that doesn't mean that with them laughing doesn't automatically mean they're doing it. They could be laughing at the fact seeing you throwing it. They could, but what I'm saying is, if you look at the situation, they looked more guilty than us,
hands down. We were talking and minding our own business, and they were looking over their shoulders and like throwing, like, you know what I mean? Like
where were you guys sitting?
They had the container on their table.
Where were you guys sitting?
We were adjacent to them.
What do you mean, like they were right beside you?
Yeah.
And then where were the white kids?
Oh, to the couple. So imagine like I'm here, and then to my right is the white kids, and then the table in front of me, so behind my friends would be the Ethiopian couple.
Oh, they're behind you, or they're in front of you? Well,
in front of me, but behind our table, because you know you sit on either sides of the table. So I had friends in front of me, a friend beside me.
Yeah, I would assume. Okay, continue.
Hugh-Gene, I'm setting up the situation. Okay. Take my word for it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Continue.
We had no food on our table.
Oh, okay.
The two kids, they had the fry container.
Oh, okay.
So.
But I would imagine if they're automatically gonna assume it's the people behind me that are throwing shit at me.
Why? If it's coming at an angle, why would I assume?
But where is it hitting them?
I don't recall where. That's the thing. I wasn't looking. I don't know where it hit them. I don't know if it hit the table, if it hit them. Hugh, my point is. Yeah. That she straight up assumed that the black kids, and I think there was an Asian girl with us too, but there was three black girls and one or two others. Like I think there was maybe I can't remember if my white friend was there, but definitely the Asian girl. So there was at least 4 of us, but just feeling and like to be like yelled at in the middle of a food court for doing something that I didn't do. She didn't ask like, hey, did you guys throw that? It was nothing. It was an instant, like, it was you. I know it was you. And like in that moment, I remember that was the first time I've ever stood up for myself like publicly. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, clearly we have no food here. Where would we get fries to throw at you? And she kind of quickly realized, and you know, she didn't apologize. She just kind of scurried off, and then they left the food court. She realized,
like, oh shit, I have those wrong people.
But like,
that's what I imagine went through her. She's like, oh shit, wrong guys.
I don't know, but like, she was about my color too. You know what I mean? And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the stereotypes have just been so ingrained into society.
I wouldn't think that's more of a race thing. Like if I don't know, I don't know, that's just my thought. I don't know. I wouldn't think that was a race thing, but that's just me. I would think that's like if there's kids directly behind me and they've been laughing and whatnot, and I'm constantly being hit by stuff, and they're all at the same time laughing as a group. If I'm an old, cranky old person, I'm going to directly assume it's the people right behind me, not the people to the right. But that's just my thought process.
That's fair. Just me. And that may have been hers as well.
And then she realized, when you stood up to yourself, and then she probably realized, oh, there's nothing on the table. Her ego was probably fucked because she's like, oh, shit, this is wrong. It wasn't them. And then just walked off. That's my thought process, at least. It
very well might have been her thought process, but what that does to you as a child, as a kid, to feel like you are being targeted.
Humiliated. Yeah. There's public humiliation, of course.
Right. And like, that stays with you. Yeah. Like that feeling of like, oh, like people think this way because I look this way. If you want to give her the benefit of the doubt, like, sure. And like she said a lot of nasty things too. It wasn't just like, oh, did you throw fries? Like it was a lot of nasty, like, racial stuff. Like I don't want to.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go on.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, she thought it because of what we were, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, I don't know. I surround myself with a lot of different groups of people.
Races?
Yeah. Like different races and different ethnicities. I always have. I mean, I guess that's part of growing up in Toronto. Like, I'm sure you have as well, right? Like, your friends are all different.
My main group is just brown now, but like throughout when I was growing up, it was my group originally, because my group's been the same since like fucking grade 1. But like, for the most part, well, there's only 2 of us left now from grade 1. But like, when I was younger, man, my group was like, I was the black kid because there was like 2 black kids in my area. I'm exaggerating, there's a little bit more, but it was like black, me, I was a black kid, and at the time there was another black dude, and then there was like a half white, half Guyanese kid, Indian kid. Whatever.
Okay, yeah, the details Asians. Aren't important, Hugh.
Yeah, well, but, I don't know.
Yeah,
Whites.
A few years ago, a group of my friends and I, a group that I am the only black person in, but we are all minorities. We were joking. A reference was made by one person to another in regards to the movie The Help.
What's The Help?
It's
that Maid movie? I've never seen it.
Right, yeah. No, I actually haven't seen it either.
Is the one where you're supposed to like shit in the food or something?
Right, so that was the reference. The reference wasn't about the maids or black or white. The reference was, oh, well, if you keep that up, I'm going to bake shit into a pie and give it to you. Like, it was like a lighthearted, like, oh, ha, 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 like you're roasting your friend.
Did they say that to you?
No.
They just said that in general?
No, said it to another friend. Right? And it was said in a way that was not racist. It was, it was fine. But then another friend decided to chime in on that joke and be like, ha ha ha, yeah, Jonel, that's you. You're the help. And like, she doesn't know, like, this was a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know. No one's ever said anything like that to my face, and like that hurt so bad.
You just let them know?
No.
For me, it's different because like I've had racist shit. I don't know, because I guess this is the way I grew up. Because me and my friends, we all like the reason why my humor is so fucked up. You could tell my friend group, we all shit on each other, and we like my friend's Palestinian. You can already think of all the things I'll make jokes about him. So for me, it's like different. Like if someone, it depends on the person, throws a racial joke at me, I'll normally right back.
That's not my style. I'm not going to make a racial joke towards someone.
Yeah.
And this friend has already said that, her father was racist.
Yeah, it's different. That's coming from a different place.
And like, she did say it as a joke. I'm not going to act like she was like roasting me or like trying to cuss me out or anything like that. But it's like, what makes you feel like it's okay? The one black person in your group, to call them the help, to call them a maid, a slave? Like, what makes you feel like that's okay? And like, I just felt so humiliated. Like, I couldn't speak up. Like, I just,
yeah.
And she actually said it twice, like two different occasions. Yeah.
What?
I know, because that's the thing. It's hard because like, I don't think she had bad intentions, but like, it was in such poor taste and it was so insensitive. Yeah. I told you the story. Like, she's the same one who the other day, like, I heard her say the N-word for the first time, and I'm like, I'm not surprised. She was drunk, and I was like,
the truth comes out when you're drunk.
For real. But like, it makes you feel so isolated.
Yeah.
And like, the fact that like she made that type of joke and not one other person was like, that's not cool. Everyone else just kind of either laughed along or didn't say anything.
Yeah, well, yeah. In those moments, man, you gotta...
Silence is compliance.
You gotta stand up for yourself at times, even if it's not comfortable, Because you gotta...
I wish I did, but like, I didn't. I couldn't.
Yeah, no,
when you're embarrassed and when you're humiliated, you don't want to attract more attention to yourself. Yeah. So you just like, you shut up and hope that the moment will pass.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I was okay with it.
Yeah, no shit, yeah.
But
then, yeah, man. Like, I have another, like, I guess, like, racist moment I've had in my life, I guess. I remember
Stop fiddling with the mic,
I
please.
can't stop. Okay.
If you guys ever hear like a bumbling noise in the background, like a truck going down the road, it's Hugh-Gene moving the whole mic stand, the cords.
Yeah, it's hard for me to sit still. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember like one time at Yorkdale, I was going for an interview for...
Yorkdale is a mall, for those of you who don't live in Toronto.
It's the cesspool of hell. It's like Tumblr. It's just a shithole. It's
just tell your story.
Whatchamacallit? I remember, I was going for an interview for H&M because I was unemployed at the time. And I remember I stole a lady's parking spot.
Oh, I thought you...
What?
I don't know. You're like, I stole a lady's...
What, pussy?
No, I thought you were going to say a purse. And I'm like, how are you going to... like, just live up to that black stereotype.
It's gotta live up to that stereotype, guys. It's gonna make us look worse than we already do.
Yeah, I was like, Hugh-Gene.
I went to Yorkdale and I stole a lady's purse.
Let's just say I'm glad you said parking lot.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna say pussy or something. No. I stole her pussy in the parking.
No,
I just got called a nigger for taking... The first time I ever got called, it wasn't a white person. It was I don't know. She was brown or I don't know, Mexican or something. I don't know. There's no Mexicans here.
Of course there are.
It's like 2.
Doesn't make it okay though.
No shit. Yeah, I remember. I was just like, what? I was like shocked. I was like, because I've never had someone call me a N-word before. I don't want you guys to be all scared of hearing the N-word. I remember like, I'll remember because I was like, I clearly knew she was going to take the parking spot. She was obviously waiting for it.
So you were being an asshole.
Oh, I was being a total cunt. I was like, time my time. And I slipped right in. She's like, fight me, you bitch, you goddamn nigger. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like shocked. I laughed because my mind always goes to find the funny. That's just how my mind goes. Even like the most worst situation, my mind's like, let's find some funny. And I always... For me, my thought process always is that the word is only as strong as you let it be. And to me, in my head, I was like, well, I did steal our parking spot. And that's some nigga shit. But that's instantly what my head said. Just making a joke to myself. And yeah. And for me, it didn't really hurt. It was more shock because I didn't expect it.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, well, that happened.
I've never been called that to my face.
More than once I've been called.
If someone has called me that, it's been like not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It reminds me of, I can't remember this woman's name, but the video, you referenced it earlier with me and my dog, the one who the guy, she had her dog off leash in an off leash area. So he was recording her and saying, can you please put your dog on a leash? She was like, you are harassing me, blah blah blah, and she called the police on him and was like, a African American man is threatening me and my dog
because she knew.
Right. And there was another one, a woman didn't want to pay her cab fare. She had a whole fight. Did you see that video?
No.
Okay, she had a argument with the cab driver. So it was a black man. He walked across the road because he thought she needed help. But when he got there, he realized that she was the one in the wrong. And the cab driver was like, just pay me my fare, pay me my fare. And she had the cash. She just didn't want to give it to him for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. Because the video, the video's from the guy who walked over's perspective. But he's just like, oh, well, you're in the wrong. You got to pay him his money. And she's just like, F you, blah, 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 throwing out slurs. And then she straight up starts yelling rape. And these men are not touching her.
Believe all women.
And it's just like using your privilege to target someone. But like the woman saying, "Oh, it's an African American man, and he's threatening me, and he's and this black man raped me, or he touched me, or he's trying to rape me." It's like, why? Listen, there's plenty of ways to be an asshole without being a racist asshole. You know what I mean?
You gotta maximize your assholeness, man. What about police interactions? How as a Canadian black person, how has your police interactions been? What's your experience with that? I would say, have you had both good, bad, or good, bad, good?
My interactions with the police,
because that's the one thing I can't relate to with Americans. One
thing I will say is, and like I said it earlier, but I don't hate the police. For those of you listening, my father was a police officer, Toronto Police, for over 40 years. Right now, one of my good friends is pursuing becoming a police officer. I in no way dislike police. My experience with police,
like stops and all,
my personal experience has been decent. I can't think of any situation where I've been harassed. But I know one situation where I was.
What happened?
Well, I don't want to get into it because it involves disclosing a lot of personal information. But basically, I was with someone at a mall, and they were doing something that they weren't supposed to do, and they pulled both of us aside. It was a Walmart. They searched me. They realized I didn't take anything. They searched the other person. They had a couple things, nothing of high value, but whatever. They were like, okay, both of you wait. We're for the police to come. So we waited for a little bit. And And then the police showed up, and the only reason that I don't know, like, I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't know if I would have been charged or not, but what I was told was that I was being let go because the cop recognized me because of my father. So I had like a favor done because this cop recognized me and was like,
recognized the name.
No, not my name. He recognized me. I had an encounter with this cop while I was with my dad, and my dad, cops are all buddy. So he was like, so he knows me as Officer Wilson's daughter, and he was like, I remember you. Do you remember me? And like, I didn't even remember him because it was like a couple of years, and I was like,
yeah, man.
But then he reminded me of the encounter, and I was like, oh yeah. He was like, yeah, I saw your name, and I remember, like you said, he saw my name, and he was like, oh yeah, I remember you and your father and whatever. So like go ahead and just be careful of the company you keep and blah blah blah, and that was that. And like, who knows if like how it would have turned out if my dad wasn't a cop, and like that's
who caught you, the security or just employees?
It was Walmart. So
it was loss prevention.
I went to. I guess that's who it was.
Were they in plain clothes?
Yes.
They were loss prevention.
Yeah. So I had a couple things. I think I was just buying. It was like a superstore, Walmart. So I was like buying some food and stuff, and then I went to the cash, bought my stuff, and I was walking out, but I was with someone else, and they had picked up. They were just with me. Yeah. So I guess they had picked up a couple things. Yeah. So as we were walking out, we hear, oh, excuse me, can you come with us? And I was like,
realize you're good, and then that guy the person was bad.
Right, but we were together, so it looked like it was planned, because they actually asked me to open my wallet and how much cash I had, and they're like, oh, like, if you had cash on you, why didn't you pay for this person's stuff? And I was like, I didn't know. But they're like, when we see two people come in together, we don't know. And that's the thing. I don't know if your mom ever told you this. My whole life, my mom always said, be careful of the company you keep, because if one person is stealing and they're caught, they're gonna assume that you guys are all together.
Oh yeah, no,
and that's not even a race thing. That's just like anybody,
My friend group, they've done so much stupid shit, and for me, it's just like gut instinct. Like, I don't want to be a part of that, so I'd always just disappear.
No, literally, I remember one time it was that same Walmart as well. It was a different group of people. It was like me and maybe like 2 or 3 other people, but one guy started to steal like Pokemon cards or whatever, and I was
trying to get Charizard,
and I was like, absolutely not. I don't want any part of this. Because
I don't approve of this.
No, seriously. I'm like, you're with me. I don't care. Do that shit on your own time. Don't walk with me and do that type of stuff. My mom had instilled it in me. Even like the whole, like, kids just go to the mall to hang out. She's like, if you don't have money and you're not browsing for anything in particular, why are you going to the mall? You have no money to spend. You're not looking for anything. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't. So going and hanging out and like just facilitating that, like, stereotype of like black kids lurking around, and even if I'm with other kids, it's like it just looks like you're trying to steal.
A group of teenagers never looks good.
Right, exactly.
Okay, whether
so my
it be
mom
black,
always,
white, Asian, girl, boy, trans, whatever. A group of kids, it's terrifying.
Exactly. And to this day, I've never just gone to the mall just to hang out.
I've never gone to the mall just to hang out. The only mall I had was Scarborough Town Center. I'm not trying to hang out there.
The only time I've remotely done that is when I once was going to a movie, and then we ended up catching a later movie, so I had like an hour and a half to kill. So you just kind of walk around and browse. But like,
or I'd shop with a person and just be like, here, choose that, you fuck.
Right, but you're going with someone for a purpose. Even though you're not buying anything, you're with that person for a reason. I've never just gone just to...
No, I've never gone. Well, I want to go. My police...
With no money and no intention?
No,
like, at least if you're like, oh, yeah, I want to go shopping, you go with money, because the idea is that you want to pick something up. No. If you have no money and you're going into all these stores, it looks suspicious. It does. And as a black person, like... You don't want to be like, have you ever felt like weird when you walk into a store and you don't see anything, so you walk out? I always feel like low key, like, I'm surprised that you don't feel that way as a black man.
My head is like, I didn't do anything wrong, so I shouldn't feel weird.
I know, it's like you don't do anything wrong, but in the back of your head, you're like, oh God, it looks bad. Like I just walked into the store and then walked out. Looks like I grabbed something.
To me, my mind doesn't go there, just because in my head, it's just like, same thing, like, yeah, like in my head, it's just like, I'll walk into a store and I'm like, oh, nothing's here. I'll feel more weird. For me, I'll just feel bad. Like, man, I feel like I should buy something. That's where my head goes. But like, if I go into a store and like walk out, I don't worry about like, oh no, they might think I'm just like, my anxiety more comes from I should have bought something. That's where my head goes. This doesn't go to like, I feel weird. I don't know. In my head is like, if I didn't do anything wrong, I know I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't act suspicious in any way. I have my cases full. There's proof with cameras. That's just and that just goes through my...
True. In my head, I'm like, thank God for cameras. Normally, if you're actually stealing, you don't like the idea that cameras are there. But when you know that you're innocent, I'm like, thank God.
There is no cameras, and I know there's no cameras. Same thing.
No, because if there are no cameras and someone suspects me of something, then I don't ever want to,
I've been in a situation where I was suspected of doing something, and I can't remember. I know I've had a situation where I was suspected of doing something, but I didn't do it, and I was kind of just, and I can't remember what it was exactly, but what I remember is just I remember just being calm, just being like, yeah, I just answer whatever they ask, it was 100% calm, and they're like, okay, you're free to go. I didn't really, if I was being like, oh, then I feel like I'd make myself look bad, but everyone handles situations differently. But like for me, when it comes to police, same thing, fine. I've had a lot of encounters with police. I've even gone up to police cars. Like last week, I went up to a police car at nighttime, which is like how most cops. It's the most dangerous thing for cops. Is just a random person going up to them to their window.
To do what? What were you doing?
I was walking my dog, and they're just shining lights into like this like park, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, is there any coyote?" I was worried. Could have just been coyotes. I've been spotting coyotes more, and there was a bear spotting in Oshawa, so. And I was like, is there anything in there that I should worry about? They're like, no. There's just like, we're looking for a guy with a bloody nose. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, that should be something I should worry about. And then he was just like, in the park I always go to, shining lights in the cars. I just said, come early and you can catch people, and just like shared a laugh. And then the other time was, I
don't think all cops are bad.
No.
Not at all.
And then like I would say my only bad racist interaction was when I was younger. I think this was going to grade 10, so I was probably 15. And then me and my friend, this was after summer school. I can't remember what school we were at, but we're just sitting on top of portables. We're just bored. So we just climbed up on top of portables. So we actually almost had to call the police, to be funny. Because if you ever see portables, like the ones that are beside each other, there's like, in between the spaces beside each other, they put planks. So for some dumb reason, we just decided to go in between the middle, even though there's no way to get back up. And he somehow got back up, and I was stuck for like a good 20 minutes trying to get up because I'm short, and then I ended up parkour. I don't know. But like, I remember when the cops came, they're asking, hey, you guys vandalizing? We're like, no. And they're like walked around just to see the portables and stuff. And then they asked for his name. They asked for my name. They asked me if I had a street name. And at the time, I was like, yeah, I was that same thing. At the time, I was like, Hugh? Because I didn't know.
You like give him like the name of your street, like your address?
No, I was confused. When he asked me.
Main Street?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck's a street name? So I was like, I can't remember.
Did he ask the other kid for a street
name?
name?
He was a white guy. He didn't ask him for a street name.
Interesting.
So that was like the first. When I remember looking back at that, I was like, he asked me for a street. And I gave him Hugh. So I pretty much, I was like, why did he ask me a street name?
Your street name is Hugh.
Yeah, that's what I said. And he looked, when I said that, he was like, okay. And then they just left because he was confused. But that would be my only, because I can think of so many encounters where, because I've had like Tamara Rice, is it Tamara Rice? The kid, the 12-year-old that got shot in the park. Was it Tamara Rice?
I'm not sure.
I've had a close situation like that. Pretty much the exact same situation like that.
Where you were almost shot?
Yeah, I think that makes me like sad. Where me and my friends were like walking around, because my friend used to have BB guns all the time, so we're like walking around the area with like BB guns because we're stupid and shit. And then like someone called the cops on us, obviously, and then the cops were just like, no, nothing happened, nothing bad happened. Like the cops were just like, hey, we put the BB guns back to like Liam's. Nah, dang, I incriminated you. We put the guns back. And then we're just like walking around the area more, and then we fit the description of what whoever called the cops on us. Yeah, and then they just pulled us over, and we're like, "Were you guys walking around with BB guns?" We're like, "Yeah." They're like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? We could have shot you guys. And we're just like, "Sorry," and that's it. But like that one, I remember when Tamara Rice happened, I was like, "Oh fuck!" If I was in the States, I don't fucking know. I would have been dead now, because he was doing the exact same thing. He was just playing with a BB gun in the park. And then he got shot. And I had the exact same thing. There was three of us, black, half white, half Arab, brown kid, but like same shit could have happened. This was like, what grade was I? I was like 14 when this happened too. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like when I know guys. I have friends who I've talked to who have had negative, experience with police. Not to the level of like what an American could describe that lives in New York. Like we don't compare. I think the only people that can compare to like Americans are maybe like Native Americans, not Native Americans, Native Canadians, and like here and at reservations, because I always hear bad things about their interaction with police. I always hear it's always really bad. Mm-hmm. So I feel like natives here are probably the ones that can relate to black people the most in America. I can't speak obviously for all black people here, because I don't know, like because I can think of some like my friends have told me about their situation, and I'll think about it and be like, well, you can kind of put that on yourself. But then some of them I can be like, okay, that's bad, but I don't know. Because when you look at the studies too, when it comes to like police brutality and police shooting, and you look at it from Canada compared to the States, not even close. Not even fucking close. Not even close. Like excessive, like not even close. So I don't know if I think it's just training. And I even think our training for police is a joke. Like anyone that knows people that
I think it was it Florida? Or California. Training to become a certified barber requires more hours than certification for a police officer.
For police back in the day, like because I used to want to become a cop. I'm still in the like mix between it, but like they would tell me, and it's the same thing like with firefighting too. It's like back in the day, like you just go to the depot and be like, hey, I want to do this. Or like with policing, you would have to meet if you're a certain height and a certain weight, you got it. And that was it. And like when I look at police foundations too, you don't need to become a genius to become a cop. And I feel like with policing, there should be obviously a higher prerequisite. I think military should be a prerequisite to become a cop. I think psychology should become a prerequisite. Like you don't need a lot. You just need grade 10. I probably raised it, I imagine. But from I remember when I was younger, I think you just need grade. I think you just need a high school. And that was it. Just to graduate. You didn't need college. Obviously, you're not going to get in if you don't have college. But, like, when I think of, like, their testing and stuff, especially, like, the physical testing, too, that shit, too, their physical test is a fucking joke. Because I've done pretty much every government test. I've done the firefighting, forest firefighting, military, and I've done the police. The police one is, like, most people on the street could do it. You don't need to prepare for it. So I just feel like police training in general just needs to be, like I think every, like, Andrew Yang said this. He thinks every cop should have a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I think that's true. I think you should have to know how to do grappling as a cop. You should know how to do martial arts. You should have a background, at least, in basic training in military, because the way they can psychologically prepare you for, like, dealing with this high-stress situations. And I feel like they should have a psychology background. Because obviously it's psychology. You need to understand the person's mind, right? So, I don't know. I think with policing, the training is just a joke. It needs to be increased. And, it just needs to be longer. Because in Norway, to become a cop takes like 3 years. Well, here, I think it's probably about a year. And you see, I don't know. I was talking to my friend, and he's like, in this Police Foundations class, he's like, these are the fucking people that want to become cops. Like, you see the people, and you're just like, these are the fucks? These dumb fucks want to become, like, these are the guys you're gonna see patrolling the fucking streets. These are the guys you're gonna worry about dealing with high situations where they can barely fucking climb up a set of stairs they can't handle certain shit. So it just needs to be raised up a bar, to me.
Yeah. As far as personal experiences go, for me, I'm someone who, I've dated, like, different ethnicities. I've dated black people. I've dated white people. I've dated brown people.
Rainbow.
But not really. But okay. No, but my experience, and like I've dated more than one white person, so this experience is only pertains to one. But you and I talked about this the other day, and I told you how upsetting it was for me to see my ex posting a lot of things. I don't know how to say this. He wasn't posting things that were racist, but he was posting things that were anti-Black Lives Matter. You know, when people...
In what way? Was he just being critical of the movement, or was he just being...
critical and a bit of a troll.
I don't think there's anything wrong being critical of the movement. I think it's good to be critical of it.
I don't think anything is wrong with being critical when you have facts, and he has a lot of facts. He's a smart guy. But it's just like saying things to get reactions out of people. And I mean, that's how he is. Like, that's his personality. Like, he would always do that before this. That's why I know, like, I don't believe that he's racist or anything. But, like, when I told you, it was a picture that Marlon Wayans posted. And it was a collage of photos of people doing the George Floyd challenge.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
White people doing the George Floyd challenge.
I saw that. I was like, that's so fucked.
What that is, if you guys don't know, is
it's pretty obvious.
Having your friend on the ground and you putting their knee on their neck and taking a photo, smiling, you know, and they call it the George Floyd challenge. And it was in such poor taste. And under that, him and a bunch of other people, like, he was commenting things that were basically defending the actions of the people in those photos and defending the photos and saying that, you know, well, riots are worse than pictures. So if you're rioting, it's like, yes, I understand that riots are technically worse, but, like, in no way should you be defending those actions.
It's kind of hard to defend.
Right, but he was. But he was. So it's like, to know that that's someone that I was so close with and, like, in a relationship with and really opened up to, I don't know, like, it's quite disgusting to me.
Have you ever had racist stuff in your relationships in the past?
He was never, no.
Not with this one person, just in general.
No.
Oh,
no.
I have.
No, but this,
dude.
Huh?
This one individual.
Yeah. He was never racist, but he just didn't quite get it.
Yes.
You know, we had conversations about white privilege, and he believes that white privilege does not exist. He doesn't think that Black people, you know, have a harder time getting jobs, getting good mortgage rates. You know, he doesn't understand that. He feels like he doesn't have white privilege because he grew up not poor, but, you know, his family struggled.
I can understand why people have that thought process.
Right, and I tried to explain to him that white privilege is not, you know, you're white, so your life is great. You have nothing to worry about. You have lots of money and you're happy all the time. I tried to explain that's not what white privilege is. White privilege is not being pulled over by police because you are driving a car that looks a little too nice for someone your skin color, or being followed because, you know, you're looking suspicious in a store, or being, you know, shown houses in a certain area because people don't, like, your real estate agent doesn't think you can afford a certain area, or the neighbors don't want you in that area because of your color, or the banks don't even want to give you a loan because they don't think that you can pay it back, and if they do, they give you a high interest rate.
That doesn't make sense, because wouldn't that just make it harder for you to... Well, I guess you want more.
Right, and that's the thing. It makes it harder for Black people to pay these things and makes them more likely to default.
I always wonder, because the Black family unit was so much stronger back when shit was more racist. And that always confuses me. Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I just want to finish my thought. Yeah. But yes, you are correct in that statement. You know, he didn't understand that, like, if there was a Black man who had the exact same resume as him, the exact same, you know, qualifications, but had a Black sounding name, that his resume would be picked over the Black guy.
I can argue. It depends on the job. Because it depends if the job has affirmative action.
Hugh-Gene, it's statistically proven.
I know.
Like, I'm not even going to argue with you on this. And quite frankly, like, I don't even want to hear you say that. Because I know for it to be a fact.
Okay.
To date someone who makes you feel like your experiences aren't real, that's tough. I was constantly gaslit in that relationship. And like, I don't even think he understands it to this day. He went to the Black Lives Matter protest we had here like last week to document it, to see, and like he's documenting it on Instagram Live and being like, oh well, nobody's checked me on my white privilege yet. I guess I don't have white privilege.
Dude in blackface down there?
Yes, and a man. Well, no, this was this weekend.
No, it was this weekend.
Mm-hmm. It was a separate protest. No, it was a white man.
It was a white guy.
I don't know. Who knows? He was. He put like fireplace soot. Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Jesus.
Like, how insensitive are you?
No, man. I was like, how did he get there? That's why. How did he get so far in? Because where was that? Nathan Phillips Square?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I was wondering. I was like, this wasn't the whole downtown crowded. How the hell did he get there?
You know, like, I know that I don't believe that my ex was racist, but to hear him say that, like, oh, like, racism isn't a thing anymore these days, or, you know, making a comment and telling me that I need to calm down, or that I don't know what I'm talking about, or that, you know, I don't know. It's like, literally, I didn't even realize what it was until I actually saw a post a couple weeks ago, and it was talking about racial gaslighting. And, you know, when
I've heard that before. That's a term?
Yeah. I have it right here. Examples of racial gaslighting is if someone says,
What's gaslighting again?
Gaslighting is when you kind of... Actually, you know what? Before I give my half-assed definition, I'll give you the proper definition.
Of the gas.
When you gaslight someone, you manipulate them by psychological means by questioning their own sanity. So it's like you're confident of something and you're telling me, and I'm just like, are you sure? No, I don't think so. No, you got it wrong. No, you're wrong. No, it's like this. And you're just like, wait, is it? Oh, maybe you are right. And I make you question yourself. So that's gaslighting someone. When someone feels a certain way and or they know something and you make them, you know, a lot of people do that in like very abusive relationships.
Oh, fun. Fun.
Right. So racial gaslighting sounds like people saying, what I said or did is not racist. It was just a joke. Calm down. Oh, but black people can be racist too. Why is it always about race? Oh, just to play devil's advocate, blah, 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 blah. And then they say something racist. Those are all...
Saying black people can be racist too is gaslighting?
Saying blank. Just, I said black, but insert whatever, people can be racist too.
Oh, like if someone says something racist. Okay.
Gaslight, basically any situation, like I said, I'm in a relationship. I'm trying to explain my personal experience as a black woman to my white male partner, and he's telling me that my experiences are not real and that what I'm feeling, I'm making that up because society isn't like that anymore. Telling me those things, that's gaslighting me and making me question, like, wait, am I making this up? Is this real? Did I really experience that? And like that's gaslighting.
Yeah, my only thing with... Oh, jeez Louises. Yeah, my only thing, I guess, with the relationship, dating someone when it came... I just wasn't allowed to meet the parents because I was black. She didn't want her parents to know that she was dating a black dude. They weren't white, they're Asian.
You know, I was seeing...
That was the only thing I only had.
Yeah, right. You said they're Asian, but that's the thing. Like I said, Asian communities, they look
Everyone's
down on,
racist.
They look down on black people as well. Yeah, and like, let me ask you, white, Asian, brown, yellow, purple, pink, whatever.
Purple.
What would you feel comfortable dating someone if their parents were racist? If they told you that they weren't, but they said that their parents were, and they grew up in a racist household, would you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I could do it. As long as they're not like that, it is what it is.
But wouldn't you be worried about like what's instilled inside of them?
If they're not showing that, and they show me that they're not that person, what they are, what their parents are, and that's all I can do. I can't just because their parents are a certain way. I can't just assume they're that way. If they say I'm not that way, and I'm and it's
no. I'm not saying to assume. Like you I'm not saying that. Like, I don't know. See, the way I look at it is I initially would want to say what you said, which is, you know, as long as they're not racist, who cares? But like the way my brain works is like, if I'm going to be with this person and start a family with this person, these people are now my family. These people who hate me and hate me because of something that I can't control are now my family. When I have children, that's gonna be their family.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. It comes down to how close they are with their family. Like if they're like super close, then I'm not gonna put myself. That's gonna just be too much stressful and anxiety and shit. If they're not that close to their family, I could deal with it. I'd be like, as long as you're not like that, I wouldn't care. And I would tell them, I was like, look, I'm not gonna bring my kids around your parents if they're gonna do all that racist shit. If they're gonna do that crap, then no. But like, yeah, I could. If they're parents, I'm not gonna. No, I could. As long as if they show me that they're like good, no, I don't care. I care, but like I'm not gonna like judge them because of their parents. And like I said, if they're super close with their family, then yeah, that's gonna be fucking awkward situations, and I'm not gonna bother with that.
You know what else just crossed my mind?
See,
I'm sure you maybe saw the video of. Sorry, her name slips my mind, but who cares? I care.
Is it an important name?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
During the protesting, a black trans woman was attacked. I think, was this in Atlanta?
It's probably Atlanta.
No, it could have been Minneapolis. I really
like
can't remember. If I heard her name, I would remember it. Beautiful woman.
Was she famous?
No, but she was out there protesting, and they realized that she was trans, and they chased her down, beat her up, stomped her. This trans woman.
No, who chased her?
A bunch of black people protesting Black Lives Matter.
What? Ah, God.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we don't lose our message by selecting which Black Lives Matter. All Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's when
Black trans lives matter. Yeah. Black LGBT. And that's the thing. I feel like I don't know why some black people are so homophobic when
I don't know, man.
They should look at it like, why am I hating on this group for being who they are when people hate me for who I am? You would think that any sort of minority that's gone through struggle would be very sympathetic with one another.
People are fucking stupid.
Listen, I'm not going to say that gay people aren't racist, but like in my experience, gay people are a lot less racist because they know the struggle and they're not going to hate on...
Have you been on Grindr?
They're not going to hate... Well,
no blacks.
Well, that's the thing. So,
no Asians.
That's the other thing. So, a lot of apps and dating
racism in the LGBT community.
Well, no, what I was gonna say is overtly racist. Whereas a lot of like, oh, I don't want to date any blacks, no Asians, whites only. Yeah, you know what? Okay, you know, I'll take back that statement. No, I didn't mean to say that. Like, you know what I meant? I meant like
everyone's a cunt.
Outwardly racist and discriminatory, but I guess, you know what, there's so many different ways to be racist and to be prejudiced.
Grindr, man.
Yeah, how do you know so much about Grindr, sir?
I know a lot about Grindr.
You frequent Grindr?
I'm an expert. I grind all day.
Ew, don't point at me.
What else was I gonna say? I forgot. Look, man, just don't be a dick. Treat everyone like the way you want to be treated. You know, you see a person, give them a high five. You're like, hey, you're white. I like you. Doesn't matter. Fuck.
Did you fart?
Nah, not yet.
It smells a little musty in this room.
It's me. I worked all day in this heat. It's my crotch you're smelling.
Sorry to expose you on the... Whoa, you just exposed yourself.
I don't give a fuck. I'm a stinky cunt, man. I have a stinky cunty cunt, you know?
Okay.
Look, man, just don't be a dick.
Don't spread open your legs. Can you put your foot down? Hugh-Gene, stop. And don't put your foot on my chair.
Oh my God. I just want to air it out.
Act like you were raised correctly.
I wasn't.
You were raised in a barn.
Pretty close.
No, I think that for me, I've always felt less than because of the color of my skin. I think one time last year I opened up to you about that and like growing up, and you know, your mom tells you that you're beautiful, and it's like, well, you're my mom, you have to, right? And like growing up, there was only one person, my cousin Keisha, who, and she is a light-skinned black woman, and like she used to like praise me.
I wouldn't say she's light. Okay, whatever.
She used to praise me for light skin, brown skin. She's not dark skin, is what I'm saying. Whatever you want to call her. She's not like Mariah Carey, but she's not like Kelly Rowland either.
Who's Kelly Rowland?
Oh my god! Please. I
don't know who Kelly Rowland is. Don't judge me for not knowing.
Destiny's Child.
I don't listen to the fucking Destiny's Child.
You don't know Kelly Rowland?
No, is she the one that no one likes?
No, that's Michelle.
Whatever, they're all the same.
Okay, she's no Issa Rae. She's no Gabrielle Union. She's no, like, you know what I mean? Those are all dark-skinned women.
Yeah, Issa, yeah. Issa?
Issa.
Both an E or an I?
That's spelled with an I. Hugh-Gene. I'm not her mother. I didn't name her. That's not important, please, because the message is so important to me. Because it's only recently in my adult life that I've, like, actually not just gotten comfortable, but, like, learned to love my skin. You know? And, like, she was the only person, aside from my mother, like I said, that, like, ever made me feel like the way I looked was okay. I always felt less than. Growing up in school, you know, like, not in an obvious way, but, like, comparing yourself to other people. And, like, I don't even know if you completely get it, because you're not a dark-skinned black person. And because, you know, within the black community, there is colorism. Yeah. You know? So it's, like, being seen as, like, the least desirable group or a completely fetishized group. It makes you feel like you're not, like, worthy.
Well, I guess, like, from the light skin perspective, I guess for, like,
Keisha's the same color as you.
I don't know. People call me light skin. I don't know what the fuck I am, but I've been called light skin.
You are lighter. You're brown.
I guess, like, if you see my chest, you're like, who's that white man? But then, like, you see my arm, you're like, okay. But, like, I for me, I guess you had to prove. I feel like when you're, I guess for me being lighter, you just had to prove more. I guess, you know what I'm trying to say.
Growing up, my mom always used to say, like, in life you have to work twice as hard just to prove that you were half as good. And, like, I've really found that to be true in my life. I work so hard, and, like, I feel like it's gotten me nowhere. I feel like I work longer and harder than so many other people, and, like, they just have it so much easier than me. In life, at work, I'm the only black person at my job, and I work harder than anybody else. And, like, it's just, you know, it's hard when it comes from within your own group, as well as the outside, as well as the media. And, like, I love that now, like, dark-skinned black women are really starting to, like, get their moment.
Pop, man.
Because I didn't have that at all growing up.
Yeah.
No black woman to look up to until, like, I was a little older, and then I kind of had Raven Simone, and I had Tia and Tamira, but they're half white, and, like, I don't know, like, I'm so happy now for this generation, because it really is important, especially for young women, you know, like, to be seen as, like,
pretty.
Not just pretty.
Intelligent.
Because for the longest time, the only black women in general, whatever skin color, they were seen as the sassy ghetto best friend who just had, like, the one-liners and the and, like, all of that stuff. They weren't seen as smart. They weren't seen as talented. They weren't seen as beautiful. They were seen as the comedic relief and, like, the token black person for diversity purposes. And, like, that's what I've been my whole life. Growing up, like I said, my friend group, I'm the only black person. My work, I'm the only black person. Nobody understands my struggle, and nobody tries to. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't know. I just think that last week, all of this stuff, it is really just become, like, a boiling point with
all of the
chaos. Racial injustice. I do think it is necessary, but it's like people shouldn't have to die for people to understand.
It's a shame, but that's the thing. Humans, we normally don't realize something needs to change until something bad happens. That's with everything. Normally change doesn't happen until something bad happens.
I look in the mirror and I say, but, like, I'm just me. Like, I don't see black or white when I look at myself. I just see me, right? Like, that's all I've ever known. And, like, I don't know why. And I think that when people say, oh, like, I'm colorblind, I don't think people should be colorblind, because if you don't see color, then you don't see the injustices. You think, oh, everyone's treated the same because I don't see color. I think you need to see color, but you need to see people for who they are and treat people for how they are. What are you looking at?
Dog.
Oh, he's on the couch. Yeah, you know, Because for a long time, like, it really did seem, especially in America, that Black lives don't matter to a lot of people. And they probably don't. I mean, like I said, how can you see a peaceful protest and cover yourself in blackface and stand there and smile and just...
I'm like, how did he get that far? That's what I was so confused. I'm like, how did he get there? You can't... That's a law. Like, he didn't do it by himself. Because I think his arms were black, too. I guess he could.
Of course he could.
He could. Never mind, yeah.
I hope whatever he used on his skin was toxic.
I don't want to hope that. Just learn what you did was wrong, buddy.
I didn't wish death on him.
But that's toxic, you know.
That was literally a hate crime. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I don't want to wish bad things on people. Just learn from your situation.
I said what I said, and I stand by it.
Yeah, just learn from your situation and educate yourself, bud. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't have any more. I can't think of any more Black Canadian experience. Like, my own... I can't think of any. I probably have more, but I just can't think of anything more.
No, I mean, I feel like we both shared a lot of our experiences and our feelings on everything that's going on in the United States. And I guess the only other thing I have to say is that I hope that this is the beginning of a positive change. And I hope that the police and the citizens and just anyone who commits these senseless crimes are held accountable.
I just hope fucking police hold accountable. I hope fucking government in general is held more accountable. I think a lot of this whole Corona shit, that Corona's done. I feel like that shit doesn't matter anymore. But I hope, like, I think what this Corona shit's been exposing is just a lot of bullshit between both sides.
Well, like you said, I don't know. I don't believe that Corona is done.
No one gives a fuck about it.
The numbers from the protests, they haven't been in yet.
And this month is going to determine how I think about it.
14-day incubation period.
Yeah, this month is really going to determine how I feel about Corona, because I've been looking at, like, Texas, Wyoming, and those Ohio, and those countries have been open for a while. The states have been open for a while. Nothing has gone up. Like, after the Trinity Park thing, I thought our numbers would shoot up after a couple of the weeks going by. Lowest, so like that this month's really gonna determine my thought process on the whole Corona shit. But yeah, man, I think as much as it sucks, I feel like for most people they feel like the last 4 years have been shit, and some people it has, some people it hasn't. I don't know, but like it sucks that a lot of bad things have happened, but I personally think it's a necessary chaos, because I feel like it's waking up a lot of people to a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, you know, I had a friend reach out to me, a white guy who lives in England, who reached out to you.
Yeah, I had a white friend that reached out to me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I had someone say, "Your life matters," and I was like, "Calm down with your white guilt. Leave me alone."
Well, so that's what I was gonna get at. The whole
white people don't get calm with your white guilt. You don't need to bow down. There's a video of people bowing down to like and apologizing or some shit to a group of. I don't know.
I think they were renouncing their white
just
privilege.
Fuck off with that white guilt shit. For me personally, just don't be a cunt.
Well, so what I realized. So at first I was feeling very like he was like, oh, you know, like he was like, oh, can I ask you a question, like a personal question? And like after all this happened, I knew where it would go.
Yeah, when I saw my friend message me, I was like, what? Oh God, what do you want?
Right, and like he wants to ask me about my experiences and this, that, and the next, and it's like, oh God, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to just randomly open up wounds and stuff like that.
But sometimes it's important, you know.
Right. No, but well, that's what I realized. And then he was saying, oh, you know, I feel so bad as a straight white male, and what can I do, and blah, blah, blah. And like in my head, I'm like, my job is not to educate you. Educate yourself. But like I realized it was the white guilt. And at first it was like really annoying. It was frustrating to me. But then I was like, you know what? And I looked around and I'm like, he's the only person who reached out to me. The only non-black person who has talked to me about this. And I'm like, I think that white guilt or not, if someone is trying to do better, I think we need to embrace that and allow them, rather than just get frustrated and be like, you know, I was kind of like, shit, I still don't want to talk about my thing. But he's like, oh, you know, I always hear that you always tell me that you're working hard, and like, you know, I never really like realized why you work so hard or why this or why that. And like, it's all kind of clicking to me. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, no shit. But like to him, it was new. And like at the end of the day, I really appreciated him trying to understand. So, you know, just like you, I was a little frustrated at first. And like, it's not my job to be responsible for your white guilt. It's not my job.
Just don't come in and be like, your life matters. That's weird. I was like, thanks. Fight the power. Yeah, no, my friend, he didn't, it wasn't really much, like.
What does the message say?
It was just, hey, bud, I know things have been utterly insane and frankly sickening, just now, but especially as of recently, and I just wanted to check in and see how you and your family were managing. I know it can't be easy by any means, and even though we haven't seen each other in a while, I want you to know I haven't forgotten growing up together, blah, 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 crazy hair day, not doing our math homework and goofing around with our bud, human, blah, blah, blah. He's just like, yeah, if there's anything I can do to help out in any way, don't hesitate, let me know. I love you, but kiddo, love you, kiddo. And I was just like, don't worry about it.
I think that's very
No,
sweet.
That was fine. His was fine. Because when I saw like, I had a DM and I was like, oh man, and I saw everything that was going on.
Let me see.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was just like, oh god, is this gonna be like some I renounce my white power or some shit like that? But I was just like, oh, you know, like, yeah, it was cool. Okay, just go on.
No, that's sweet.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I was fine with that. And I was just like, yeah, man, look, I don't know when I see all this shit that's happening, how I personally stay positive, even with this corona shit, even when the corona was started popping off, I always think to myself, our ancestors, whether you're black, white, or whatever, have gone through 10 times worse. They've dealt with shit a lot worse. And if they can deal with the shit that they had to deal with, we can do it too. We can get through it too.
Yeah.
That's what I think. We come from a long line. It doesn't matter what fucking race you are. We all come from a long line of fucking people who at one point were warriors once in their life.
Come from a long line of survivors.
Exactly. And we're here for a reason. We'll get through it, guys. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get through it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, but we'll get through it. That's how I personally... When I saw the corona shit popping off, I was like... My great-great-grandfather lived through World War I, Spanish flu, World War II, Korean flu, Hong Kong flu, Asian flu, all this shit. And I'm like, my dad lived through... Well, he grew up during the Vietnam... Well, when was he born? Yeah, he grew up during the Vietnam era. He survived the Hong Kong flu, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I see that shit and the times that our parents had to grow up through, I look at that and I'm just like, if they can deal with that, I can fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
It's instilled in me. I have that power in me. Everyone has that storm power in you. It's ingrained in your DNA, so you'll get through it, buds.
I definitely urge everyone to just educate yourself, but more than anything, just love one another, treat each other equally and fairly, and
just don't be a cunt.
Just live your life as purely as you can.
Don't be a cunt. You know what I mean? Just don't be a cunt.
Yeah, I mean,
just be a nice guy.
That's one way to put it.
That's my life motto. Don't be a cunt.
That's your life motto?
I'm a cunt. Just try not to be a big cunt.
Yeah,
be a little
cunt.
How
is that your motto when that's literally your personality?
I'm a cunt.
I'm
not a big cunt.
I mean,
I got a little cunt.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it for today.
Be nice. Just treat each other.
Okay, yeah. You said it already. You don't need to wrap up every damn 2 minutes.
Just treat each other with respect. Hug each other
respectfully, Hugh-Gene. We're done the podcast now, so that's enough.
I need to get my message out.
They can find us.
Oh, we didn't?
No, we're not going to do that today.
Okay.
Where can they find us?
They can find us at This Square Room, the website, thisroom.com. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at This Square Room. You can follow my buddy over there, Miss Jonel Wilson, at her Instagram and Twitter. Excuse me. You can follow me at Hugh-Gene B on Instagram. And that's it, man. Just, high fives, hugs, give each other a cupcake, don't be a cunt, and have a great day. America, chill the fuck out. You guys need to slow your roll. Just change your shit up. You guys need a clean sweep.
All right. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next Tuesday.